Hey, what's going on, guys? Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. Thanks for joining me today. Let's have a little bit of story time here. I want to talk about a timeline of how I got started backpacking, how it became a passion of mine, what led to posting all these videos, being a YouTuber, and just really having a lifelong passion for spending time in the backcountry. I feel like I was pretty fortunate as a child to grow up in a household that allowed me to adventure. And my parents, they cultivated that kind of culture in our household, in our home, where us as kids, with me and my siblings and my next door neighbors, like, we spent time playing outside all the time, night games, building forts down on an abandoned lot. Like, everything we did as kids was very focused on being outside. And I grew up in a family where family vacations were spent out camping. Like, we were outside, we were fishing, we were hiking. And it wasn't until I was, I want to say, like 9 or 10 years old that I went on my first backpacking trip. I went up a local canyon to even where I live right now with my 2 brothers and my grandpa. And that was the first backpacking trip that I did, where we hiked only a few miles, maybe 4 miles total, to a campground and spent some time with a bunch of other boys, like kind of a scouting kind of thing. And then it was in the scouting program that my real passion for backpacking was sparked. And that love for carrying gear on my back and going into far destinations, that was the experience that I had, and didn't come from spending time with my dad backpacking. In fact, I was 30 years old before I backpacked with my dad for the first time. And so I went on trips as a scout with my scout leaders and with other friends. And in fact, when I was about 14 years old, I did 2 really big trips. I went to Havasupai and spent time in Havasupai with, again, more of the local scouts as a scout troop. And then my next door neighbors and I, the 3 of us, we went on a trip into the Rock Creek Basin of the Uinta mountain range, which is the same basin that I went with Tim Watson, Wasatch Will, Subaru Josh, and Karate Josh just this last July. And as a 14-year-old boy and 15-year-old and 16-year-old, the 3 of us were dropped off as a trailhead. We went and we did this big 5-day trip, 4 or 5-day trip into the Rock Creek Basin. And I think about that now and I'm like, as a father, I've got a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. It's just like the thought of allowing my two girls to go backpacking for a week straight as a teenager, like I can't even like fathom what that would be like to allow them to do that. But I had parents that trusted us, that man, we just went and we had such a good time. And that trip was pretty much like a pivotal point in defining my passion for the outdoors. We had such a good experience, and it was such a great way to experience the outdoors and being in the backcountry that our parents taking out wouldn't have allowed us to have. And it was about at that point as well that I grew a passion and found rock climbing. And rock climbing is still a big part of my life. I've been climbing for 20 years, and when I found climbing, it kind of overtook my outdoor life, and I was climbing all of the time until I was about 19 years old, and then I left for a couple years. And now being home from my time living out east, I have regained a passion for backpacking that climbing kind of took over in my teenage years. It was then in high school that I took a class called Unified Studies that was an outdoor integrated studies class that gave a really neat opportunity for me to get my high school education, but also spend a lot of time in the outdoors. And in that class, we spent time cross-country skiing. We went on trips. We learned how to cook in the backcountry. We did assignments and activities that involved plant collections and identifying plants. We went bird watching. We did a lot of things that were focused on the outdoors that kept me in the mindset of knowing that I wanted to spend time in the outdoors and make it a really important part of my life. But it was in college that really made a big difference in just understanding the deep down passion and level of just awesomeness that is the outdoors when I studied outdoor recreation management in college and graduated with that degree and have been working in the outdoor recreation field ever since. And it's just been such a fantastic opportunity. And now, being an adult, I see the benefit of spending time regularly in the outdoors, and I love the challenge that backpacking provides for me, the experiences, the memories, and all of that, and sharing that with my kids, sharing that with my wife, sharing that with my friends is just really, really important. So that's basically the timeline, the story of how backpacking has become such a big part of my life. And I'd be super interested to hear from you guys what your experience has been like. What got you into backpacking? This video happens to be a response in a way to Subaru Josh Ebersole, who recently posted about how he got into backpacking. Really cool story. It's amazing how different people from different walks of life find themselves doing something that is all-inclusive, really. It doesn't weed people out for the most part, and it's a great way to bring a community of people that are like-minded together. And so, share with me, guys, what got you into backpacking? Post a video, tag me in it. Thanks, Josh, for posting your video and kind of sparking this interest in me to be able to share kind of a brief history of my life of getting into backpacking. So thanks for watching, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, hit that red button, as well as hit that bell to get notifications when I post on every Monday and every Thursday. And as always, guys, have an awesome day. We'll catch you on the next one.